How concerned should we be about Marvin Harrison Jr. not participating at his pro day? I'll probably say, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, we don't care. Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't need to do anything. Am I disappointed? Yeah. Did I want to see the man on the field? Absolutely. But this is a monster, and it doesn't affect him at all. Marvin Harrison Jr., potentially an Arizona Cardinal. Where else could he go? We're going to talk a little bit about this JJ conversation we had last night, which is going to piss a lot of people off. There's that type of conversation that needs to be had even on this show, even though we did a whole entire show about it, because it relates to Marvin Harrison Jr. The Vikings are a team, if any team was to potentially try and trade into a Marvin Harrison Jr. and send JJ over to the Cardinals, it would be that situation. If there was any sort of swap going on, because it's the only player that the Vikings could get back that you could say, hey, this could be worth it. The Cardinals are the only team I could see that happening with, and even though people are going to say it's unlikely, and it probably is very unlikely, it's certainly something that you're hearing in Arizona. I'm in Arizona. Locally, it's all over the place. Now, how much of it is fan-generated? How much of it is local beat writer and local radio show generated? Desires of people to want to see this happen and play out, and then people playing the telephone game and taking the information and passing it along, and then it getting lost in translation. We're going to break down all of that and more. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Don't you even think about going anywhere, because we've got a ton of information to talk about relating to JJ and all the rumors that you're hearing in Arizona. I'm local here, so I'm going to address some of those, even though we did an entire show on JJ last night. We're going to do a lot of JJ talk because it relates. The Arizona Cardinals are very linked to any sort of potential JJ smoke. And no one's saying it's going to happen, but it is the most logical rumor to break down anyway. But it is all over. It is rampant all over Arizona radio, all the Cardinal, communities everywhere, all over the place. And if there was a JJ trade to happen, it probably would be with the Cardinals, because they hold this number 4 overall pick. The 4 overall pick is such an attractive landing spot because it is Marvin Harrison Jr. territory. Because Fields didn't get traded to one of these two teams at number 2 and number 3, the Washington Commanders and the New England Patriots, you know that these two teams are going quarterback. And if the New England Patriots trade out of the 3 spot, it's most likely to the Minnesota Vikings, in my opinion, or a team that wants to get a quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr. is almost a lock, not to go to the Cardinals necessarily, but almost an absolute lock to go at 4. Because unless a quarterback goes at 4 and then the Chargers get him at 5, he's almost a lock to go number 4 or number 5, and probably 80% chance, if I'm throwing arbitrary numbers around like candy, I would say 80% likely to go to the Arizona Cardinals. 100%, in my opinion, are very close to 100%. 99.9, he's going 4 or 5. At the end of the day, you got to say to yourself, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you're paying through the roof for JJ. Not saying he's not worth it. No one is saying that whatsoever. But JJ, here's the latest report from Adam Schefter, ESPN. JJ's last offer back in 2023. Before the salary cap increase, before Ridley got $92 million, 50 guaranteed, before all these contracts started coming downstream, he rejected a $30+ million a year salary. There are some that say JJ's going to sign $34, $35 million a year. And Ayuk's looking at 24, maybe 25 if he's lucky. You're talking about maybe an $8 to $10 million difference. And good God, if JJ signs an extension and does stay in Minnesota, and JJ signs an extension, Ayuk is going to want even more money. $100 million guaranteed, $90 million guaranteed. I don't know what the guaranteed amount's going to be, but that's going to drive up Ayuk's price tag. So let's get this out of the way real quick before Bob comes in and says, Smitty. And if you guys see anybody that says this, you can ask them if they're new here. Say, are you new here?
Smitty, JJ's not getting traded. It's not going to happen, Smitty. There's no way it's going to happen. I know we didn't see Tyreek Hill getting traded. And I know that Russell Wilson to Denver was shocking, Smitty. But there's 0% chance that JJ gets traded.
I got news for you, Bob. I've got news for you. Anything's possible. Anything's possible, especially when you can hand the Minnesota Vikings a wide receiver like Marvin Harrison Jr. on a rookie deal and avoid paying JJ $35 million a year. Not to mention, JJ does have a say because he does not have to accept a deal with the Minnesota Vikings and can literally say, look, I'm going to put up a fight. You might as well, if you've even got an itch of an instinct to go get Marvin Harrison Jr. for me, go do it. Because I don't like what you did to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was his guy. Kirk Cousins was what JJ wanted. And they did not give JJ what he wanted. He was clear as day. I want Kirk Cousins. They didn't even attempt it. You can say, oh, no, they did. They just wanted him to test free agent. They should have offered him, treated him like the first choice. We don't even want you walking out the building, Kirk. There's your deal right there. Fat contract. Stay where you are. Don't look for a home. Stay with JJ. JJ needs you. We need you. We want you. We're not even going to window shop. We don't even want to look around. They didn't do that. For years, they didn't do that. For years, they window shop for other quarterbacks. They very, very, worst kept secret in the NFL, they very much wanted AR5 during that draft. They very much last year wanted AR5, wanted to trade up to get him, and they didn't. There's a chance JJ drives a sort of direction of this thing and guides it a little bit. Maybe he wants to go play with Kyler. Who wants to play with a rookie quarterback? You don't even know which one you're going to get. And you're drafted at 11. Maybe they trade up to 3. The thinking is, if there's going to be a trade that happens, it's 11 and 23 for the New England Patriot number 3. And New England wants JD5. I don't think they make a trade ahead of time, though, unless they really feel after a JD5 workout or two, when he becomes the clear number one quarterback in the rookie draft class by far. By far. And Smitty, everybody likes JD5. You weren't early on JD5. I can't wait to hear that I wasn't ahead of everyone on JD5. I can't wait to have people have foggy memories on that one when we dropped him on this well before the NFL Super Bowl, just to make sure it was out there first.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for
Saturn. Look at him. Look at him. Spaceman. Spaceman.
Spaceman.
Look at him. JD5 is the number one quarterback. Not Caleb. Oh, Caleb. Caleb looked like Bo Callahan. Very, very good, missiles he can throw. No doubt about it, okay? But everybody can. You don't think JD5 is going to go out there and throw 65, 70-yard passes? Come on, everybody does it. Zach Wilson looked amazing during his pro day. I put that on my Instagram. Zach Wilson dropped back to pass, threw a ball on the run, feet were kind of crossed, and they're like, this is the best throw in the entire pro day series. It's JD5. JD5's the guy. That's the answer. That's the ticket. Hilarious says, Smitty, he must really be new here, and I appreciate you. I'm not mad about that. I'm glad you found the channel. Smitty, if you're in a Superflex league dependent on it, are you taking JD5 over Caleb? I'm sure you got the answer to that by now. Appreciate you being here. 2 super chats, and we're going to get over to Marvin Harrison Jr., who did not participate in his pro day today. And we're not really worried about it, are we? Sending love to the GOAT. Thank you, Smitty. Appreciate you, Ezra, dropping the wad on screen, my pal. Thank you. And that boy, $5 hauler, why would AZ take JJ's massive contract when they have the best receiver in college locked up, essentially? For the same reason that Viking fans would say, why would we trade JJ for an unproven rookie wide receiver? You know what I'm saying, that boy? It's the same song and dance. It's what side of the dance floor are you on? Because there's absolutely a reason why you would do both. JJ's JJ. There's a reason he's getting paid $35 million a year and can get it. Marvin Harrison Jr. probably is the closest thing to JJ we've seen come out of college for a long time, but not everybody makes it. You know, there are a lot of players. He feels like an absolute lock. I know that, but there's something to, hey, we've got cap space for it. Let's say if you're any team that wants him, I'm just merely saying in general, and it's worth it. It's worth it because the moment JJ's catching consistent footballs from Kyler instead of a rookie quarterback, you're going to remember why. Okay, I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I'll be honest with you, that boy, what it does to the build of the team once you lock all that money up, it does make me kind of lean toward Marvin Harrison Jr. But at the same time, Kyler is not old. He's not brand new. It kind of feels like JJ's in that time frame of, you know, we got this all kind of in motion. They're both matured veterans at this point. And I'm not saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. will be that far behind JJ if he is in fact the real deal. But like, you know, if I'm a Cardinal fan, I'll be honest with you. If I don't feel like it's going to hamper us all that much, because I don't even know what the Cardinals are going to do with the money. You know what I mean? Like, what have the Cardinals been doing with the money anyway? Give me JJ. I'd rather have JJ. But if it's me in charge of the team, I think I could do a lot with the money that the Cardinals probably won't do with the money. And maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. would work that way. They're both fantastic, bro. They're both absolutely fantastic. But there's definitely two sides to the coin. It's a great question, but there are two sides to the coin. Why do you keep JJ in Minnesota? To attract a QB, help develop one that you get? Of course. But JJ might put up a fight. I'm not saying he has final say, but he will drive this thing in a direction if the Minnesota Vikings are teeter-tottering anyway. And if JJ's like, look, you traded or you got rid of the opportunity of bringing in Kirk Cousins, and that pisses me the hell off. So, you know what? Trade me. I'll request a trade. And then if you requested a trade, it'd be a whole different ballgame, right? Because then they'd field offers. Then the Cardinals would really get involved. Maybe the Cardinals haven't gotten involved yet. But back to this point right here, Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't participate at his pro day. Everybody's got they got their panties in a bunch about it, and I'm admitting I'm not like extremely thrilled about it. But here's a clip of the 2024 Combine key measurements number for Marvin Harrison Jr. 6'3", 209, 31.88, hand size 9.5, wingspan 77.25. This is a monster. We don't need him to weigh in. We don't need him to run a 40. We've got all the film we need. We've got game speed. He doesn't need to do anything. He's getting ready for the NFL. And to be frank with you, if he's already going to be the top wide receiver taken, this does zero. It doesn't knock him down one draft slot. It doesn't make anybody upset at him. And if he's getting ready in a different way, and you do get ready in a different way for the NFL, you're not trying to slim down, get the right kind of speed with size, and then you're ruining one or the other. It's a tough thing to teeter-totter between being at the right weight and height, obviously you can't control the height part, but the weight part, being at the right size and being quick enough. It's a tough balance. You sacrifice one or the other by trying to accommodate maybe your weakness, and he doesn't have to do any of that. He's just going to go out there, get stronger, faster, quicker to his liking, not for a 40, but on the field, his footwork. This guy's out treating it all like a business at this point, and I love it. I love it. I'm disappointed I didn't get to see him run, but I don't care because I got all the footage I can handle, and it's not gonna do a thing. It doesn't make a single team upset at him. Not one. Would he have run a 4.55? I don't know. Would he have run a 4.49? 4.52? We don't know, and I don't care because he's quick. And some of those 40 times, and they can be to your advantage, like the Jalen Wright rookie running back, who him and Braylon Allen are my two favorite. Jalen Wright in the right spot's going to be amazing. His first 10 yards of his 40 were faster than any running backs. And the new breakdown of the combine I really, really like, where they're giving you miles per hour, they're giving you 10 yardage breakdowns. That tells you all you need to know. I don't care if his 40 time was 4.55. The fact that he was the quickest running back in the draft class, Jalen Wright, the first 10 yards of the 40, is all I need to know. That's the most important number because that's hitting the hole. He's the quickest running back, most capable of hitting the hole, Jalen Wright. There probably would have been stats they could have looked at that might have made his, let's say he ran a 4.52 or a 4.55. Some say he'd run a 4.6, whatever the hell people are going to say. It probably would have been plenty fast, but if there was some sort of disappointment factor to his 40 time because he's bulking up and he's getting ready for the NFL, which I like better than running a 40 time, to be honest with you, because nothing's going to change, right? As an Arizona Cardinal fan, likely to get Marvin Harrison Jr. on roster, I like that he's preparing for the NFL now, not worrying about a freaking pro day. But had he run at the combine or his pro day, they probably would have had numbers that would have helped him, though. Like, hey, maybe he did run a 4.59 or a 4.62 or whatever the hell it would be. I honestly think he'd run faster than that, but I'm trying to throw out numbers that people are using. Like, is he afraid he was going to run a 4.59, 4.62? Let's say he was to run something like that. I bet you anything there'd be numbers in quickness in different parts of that 40 or in the cone drills that he would have been number one in the entire class in. Like maybe his first 10 yards here, or while he was running routes, he was the number one wide receiver in terms of speed and quickness and miles per hour. He would have hit something. He would have absolutely hit something. No doubt about it. So not worried about this man's size. Absolute monster in the making. We're going to talk about Fields in a moment, how I'm going to tell you Fields is going to take Russell Wilson's job. And I want to make a prediction on that. Fields is going to make the Chicago Bears dread the day they sent him packing for a ham sandwich. Fields is going to make the Chicago Bears organization look silly. And I can't wait for it to happen. Because of how they treated him. And yeah, they're beefing up their team a little bit, but it's not as crafty as people might think. Surface level, everyone's saying best team a rookie quarterback's ever stepped into. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because I'll be honest, and Ron Navy gifting 5 memberships, appreciate Ron Navy dropping 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you, pal. Appreciate Alex coming in with a $5 hauler, says, I want Puka. His owner has 0 running backs. I have Addison, Diggs, Tank Dell, Kyron, ETN, JT, Walker, Najee, only Monty and Connor. 1.4, 1.6, 1.9. I'd probably give like a 1.9 and Najee and ETN. I'd even give Tank Dell in a pick potentially to get Puka. I love Tank Dell, but I'd rather keep Tank Dell. I'd trade Diggs in a 1.6 for Puka. I'd trade Najee in a 1.8 1.6 or 1.9. I maybe even give the 1.6 to 1.9 and Connor or Najee or Monty. Like, give up both those rookie picks to try and get that done. And if that doesn't work, I give the 1.6, the 1.9, the 1.10, and any one of choice of Najee, Connor, or Diggs for Puka Nacua in a dynasty league. Alex, hopefully that helps. You can call in a little later if you want to clarify on that. Ron, thank you for the gifted memberships. Ron with a $20 hauler. There's already controversy with Wilson and Fields. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Ron with 20.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$30 million a year going to JJ, 30 plus, 32, 33, 34, 90 million guaranteed, 100 million guaranteed. Who the hell knows what this deal is going to look like? But it's going to be massive. It's going to be, let's just call it $35 million annually times 4 is 140, 90 mil guaranteed, 4-year deal. 170 mil if it's like a 5-year deal. Who the hell knows what it's going to be? But there is a problem for a team, any team, to sign a guy like that. So I love when people say the Cardinals and Vikings trade could never happen. This trade that is being talked about, not by the Cardinals, not by the Vikings, but by fan bases everywhere, beat writers, newspapers. Unfortunately, we got to talk about it because it's out there, but it doesn't. There's no substance. I say that over and over. There's no source. No one has a source, so clearly I can't put a source on screen. And I'm very open about. There's nothing. There's no lead on where this is coming from. It's just spreading like wildfire. 8 degrees of separation in terms of translation, and we have no idea what's smoke, what's not. Everything's smoke until it's done. To be quite frank with you, $5 hauler thoughts on Dotson. Considering trading for a late 2024 second. Guys, I'm going to answer super chats as soon as they come in now to make sure you guys feel well and taken care of. Contract dynasty after the season. I have to make a decision on extending. Thoughts on Dotson considering trading for him for a late 2024 second. I don't mind this, but you can get him even cheaper than that, it seems. But like you give up a late second, sure. If you're just going to hold him, he's free, doesn't cost you anything in terms of like losing another guy that I like better and you didn't tell me about. I don't mind it. I mean, I'd draft Dotson in the late second round if he was thrown into the rookie draft. Maybe not every time. Depends. Yeah. So anyway, appreciate everybody here. Bill the Tickler in the house. What's up, my guy? What's up, Buckeye? What's going on, Caps? What's going on, Buckeye? Appreciate you being here. JJ, contract extension. If his contract gets extended, oh my God, is that going to trigger some craziness for Ayuk and everybody that's waiting on a deal. It's just going to set a different bar for everybody. Zach Wilson, the real Bo Callahan, absolutely. Until proven otherwise, he's the real Bo Callahan. I know we joke around with Caleb a little bit, calling him Caleb Bo Callahan Williams. I like Bo Callahan. I mean Caleb in Washington with his quarterback coach from USC, who is now in Washington, Cliff Kingsbury. I like Caleb with Kingsbury, but I don't like anyone in Chicago under Shane Waldron. And that leads us to my next point and prediction. After, of course, the first $50 hauler prediction other than Ron Navy's is up on the board, Matt O drops his first $50 prediction, and those go on the board, might I tell you.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
So this $50 prediction, bold prediction, Fields starter by week 4, top 12 QB. I love how he throws it out right before I bring my prediction. Well played, Matto. Well played. All right, $50 hauler for Matto. I'm not putting mine on the bowl prediction board, though. So you're still going to be the one that has this and can win it. So, Matto, today is, what's today's date? Today is the 20th.
Motion detected at the front door.
Ziggy, show me the front door. Who's here during $50 hauler celebration
Okay.
hour? Which is probably Miss Smitty. Yeah, it's Miss Smitty. Ziggy off. Ziggy off. Thank you, Ziggy. Okay. So Matto says, okay, Fields, starter by week 4, and top 12. Okay. And that's Matto. Matt O. Done. And Matto, give Matto a round of applause for being the first, real since Ron Navy's original when we first cleared it and put it up, the first $50 hauler bowl prediction. Let's give him a round of applause. And what is the Smitty? What's the $50 bowl prediction contest? Well, you drop a $50 hauler, you get your bowl prediction written on the board. We'll show it throughout the year. We'll reflect on it throughout the year, and we'll come back and we'll say who had the best prediction. And the chat will vote on it. I'll read them all off. We'll come down to like 3 or 4. Then we'll vote on it as a community. You guys decide. And it doesn't even have to be fully right. Like if someone predicts something crazy and like most of it's right, you can still win because when it comes down to it, it's what you guys think is the best, most accurate prediction, even if there's a lot of complexity to it. The winner is going to co-host the first segment of the show leading into that show of announcing it. And you'll be on the screen with me when I start the show, in the beginning where I go, today on the show, we're talking about you'll be side by side with me co-hosting the first segment of the show. Maybe more if you're good at it. Maybe you'll do 2 segments. And then there'll be some sort of other prize involved. Okay, so hang tight. But Matto dropping the first one. So this is a good segue into my prediction and what I was going to talk about right now. This whole Caleb Williams thing is fueling my fire quite a bit. Watching everybody celebrate all the weapons they're putting around Caleb Williams, all the talk about how this guy's going to step in and just be great because no one's been set up better as a rookie quarterback before. Let me tell you something. That pisses me off. It pisses me off that Chicago is doing this now. It pisses me off that Ryan Poles, not a very good GM, if you ask me, who passed on Stroud. Everybody says best trade in the history of the NFL. Yeah, BS. I call cap on that one. That is cap. Totally. Pass on Stroud, and you've made the best trade. Oh, but he didn't. Nobody knew. Don't try and weasel out of that one. Pass on Stroud. Best trade ever, getting an extra first rounder. And we knew that's why they're taking Caleb. You can't pass on the number 1 overall quarterback twice in a row when you bust on Fields the year prior. You can't. In 2022, the year prior, what does Poles do? Trims the fat off the bone at every position and sends Justin Fields out to fend for himself, throwing to janitors, ball boys, hot dog sellers. He had no wide receivers. We honestly, in our community, didn't even know all the names of the players catching footballs from Justin Fields during the 2022 end of the season. We had no clue. He sent Ryan Poles, this amazing GM, he sent Justin Fields onto the field over and over and said, good luck, son. If you get to the other side, we'll be waiting for you. And sent him out into a bunch of landmines every single drive. And he carried the team. He rushed for a crazy amount of yardage. Ziggy, how many yards did Justin Fields run for in 2022?
On Sunday, January 7th.
Sunday?
Justin
Ziggy.
Fields rushed for 20.
How many rushing yards did Justin Fields have in 2022?
In the 2022 season,
Thank you.
Justin Fields rushed for 1,143 yards
One.
for the Chicago Bears. He
One,
was ranked 7th in 2022.
4, 3. The 7th highest running back. Oh, wait, he's a quarterback. Ziggy off. The 2nd highest running back, 7th, in the National Football League. This guy goes out there, carries the team on his back. 1, 1, 4, 3. You heard Ziggy. You heard him.
I don't know that one.
Of course you don't. You heard him the first time. and what does he throw? I believe 11. If my memory serves me correct, and I think this noggin does a pretty damn good job at the end of the day. I have to retain a lot of stuff, and I don't remember people's names or any backstories because I can't. I got to hold all this other stuff in like it's a overflowing tub of information. I believe he had 11 INTs. Ziggy, how many interceptions did Justin Fields have in 2022?
In the 2022 season, Justin Fields threw 11 interceptions for the Chicago Bears.
I told you, 11. Ziggy off. How do you do that with no wide receivers? How do you do that with receivers running the wrong route over and over and over? How do you do that with no talent whatsoever? How do you throw only 11 INTs when you're getting hit in the back and lobbing a ball up into the air? How do you throw 11 INTs when your job is to tuck and run, decide not to tuck and run, impromptu the entire game? How do you throw for 11 INTs? And yet you have people coming in and running their mouth like they know ball, saying, didn't you know that? Let me tell you why the Chicago Bears moved on, Smitty.
Let me enlighten you as if you don't do this for a living, and let me give you some knowledge. Justin Fields had a accuracy percentage of blah, 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 blah. Justin Fields was this number in this category, and he was this number in this category, Smitty. Therefore, you shouldn't like Justin Fields. Did I convince you?
You're going to come to me and talk about stats when this man had a water boy and the guy that says peanuts, Cracker Jacks, cigarettes, that guy? You're going to tell me he's throwing the football to that guy all game long and you're judging his accuracy? You have the balls to bring 2022 stats to the table and talk about what in the hell Justin Fields didn't accomplish in 2022? You have the nerve to admit that you don't know ball, to come in and say Justin Fields in 2022, over the last 2 years, Justin Fields did this, and didn't do this. He didn't have time to develop. Not to mention, what are you hearing right now?
Oh, but Smitty.
And while we have Justin, let's put Justin Fields' name up at least, because I've been talking about him forever and he's not even on the screen. Like, what kind of respect am I doing? What kind of respect job is that? Do I have a graphic somewhere? Can I put Justin Fields at least on the screen? What am I doing? What am I doing? What kind of Mickey Mouse operation is this? Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Justin Fields. Let's put his face up on screen. Here I am advocating for him. I'm telling you to vote for president and vote for Justin Fields, and I don't even have him on the screen. What am I doing? Okay, here we go. Fields. There he is. There's the man of the hour. There we go.
Smitty, are you telling me that this man Fields, who didn't have anybody to throw to, and this man Fields, who didn't get to partake in what everybody's calling the best talent pool a rookie quarterback has ever been given in Caleb Williams, teasing Justin Fields, hey, we'll bring over Keenan Allen, we'll keep DJ Moore, we'll bring over Swift, we'll keep building around this team, and just rub it in Justin Fields' face and do it over and over and over.
And you hear everybody talking about how good this team is now. This is such a good team. A lot of talent they're surrounding Caleb with. You're going to judge this man when you clearly neglected to provide him with talent, especially in 2022. It wasn't neglecting him with talent. It was reckless coaching and GMing when you threw your quarterback out there with nobody. Nobody. It was an injury waiting to happen. The amount of unnecessarily mileage and hits that this guy took and damage to his body probably set him back a year and a half. This probably, for everybody that says Fields did bad, and he didn't have a team in 2022 because Poles cut everybody and trimmed the fat off the bone to prepare for 2023, which they failed to deploy Fields, and he did amazing in weeks, 3 and 4 or 4 and 5, whichever the two blow-up games were. And the whole fan base, the entire Cleveland, or she keeps saying Cleveland, the entire Chicago Bears fan base was all over Eberflus, Poles, and the play calling, saying this is the worst play calling I've ever seen. They're setting up Fields for failure. They're not playing to Fields' strengths. He didn't even run much in the beginning of the year at all. He didn't run at all, period, when you compare it to the year prior. They didn't set him up properly for success. This is Lamar Jackson. This is a guy you have to let play his style of football. You can't put him in a box and try and make him do certain things that fit your offense. And that's where the real problem lies. That's where you're going to see this situation fail for Chicago yet again. Because they're going to take Caleb and they're going to try and shape him. They're going to take Caleb and try him make him play a certain amount of football that he doesn't necessarily play. He's an off-schedule quarterback. Now, some will say, Smitty, let me enlighten you again and tell you how bad his offensive line was and his team. He's always playing from behind. Didn't you watch him the year prior? I understand. But he's still very prone to off-schedule, and he's good at it. I'm not knocking him for it. I'm merely telling you that if you take Caleb and try and put him in a box, he's going to be in more trouble than you think during his rookie year. And the problem with that is they don't have the right offensive coordinator in place. Shane Waldron is not the man for the job. You went out and you got the wrong guy. You went out and got a guy that couldn't fix Fields. He can't shape and mold and sculpt Caleb into a superstar. Is he a decent OC? Yeah, he's decent. Is he going to absolutely mold, sculpt Fields or Caleb if either situation was presented to him? No. And Eberflus is going to be gone. I think, obviously, Waldron's going to be gone. Poles probably gets by the skin of his teeth one more time, as long as Caleb shows some progress, at all. And everyone's going to laugh at this team and how they didn't succeed with the perceived huge talent upgrade. We got several super chats here that I got to get through real quickly. Thoughts on Dotson, I got to that one already. Appreciate that one. Rock out, appreciate rock outs. We got Matt O with the $50 hauler. Appreciate that one. Top 12 QB. Week 4 Fields is starting. I still haven't got to my Fields prediction yet. Matt O, thank you very much. That prediction is coming here soon. What happened to the horn? Says Ron Navy. I mean, I know he's kidding, but I don't know if he meant this. The bullhorn. Bull prediction. $50 hauler. Another bull prediction coming in. $50 hauler. Let's ride.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$50 hauler. This one is by Golf. Golf says Pittsburgh to the Super Bowl in this upcoming season. Wow. Golf. Pittsburgh to the Super Bowl. 320. Golf. 320. Pitt to Super Bowl. Woo! Woo! Took Ron Navy's thunder right there. Okay, piggybacking off of Golf's massive prediction on the $50 hauler board, which is right up there. You can see him piling up as we go. This thing should be full within a couple months' time. And I'm writing small. $50 hauler gets you into the contest. $50 hauler gets you a shot at co-hosting a show with me, especially from the onset, the opening screen. It'll be me and you when it goes lights, camera, action, go. You'll be sitting right here with me, and we'll go. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about Justin Fields taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to the bowl. Golf, good bold prediction, pal. Even if, and let me just enlighten you guys. We had so many predictions not land that, let's say the Pittsburgh Steelers get to the championship game and they lose. You could still win the contest because it still might be the closest, most accurate prediction, because everybody went crazy last year and made the craziest predictions. No one came close on the whole board except for one. So it was insane. I have a feeling people are going to dumb it down a little bit to try and get a better chance to win. I would try and do something bold, but something that's achievable, so you don't just, waste the shot. I wasn't here. Serious question. Really, Ron? You weren't here when the Boss Horn got eliminated? We had a whole thing. It was too much for majority of people. They didn't want it. We thought it was a small minority. Let's not get into it. It was a big, huge dilemma mess. People got upset. There's people upset that we got rid of it. There were people upset that it was there. It was the biggest debacle, and it's gone. It's gone. Anyway, appreciate you all being here. Let me just say this. I believe that at the end of the day, just because it's going to be so fitting, Justin Fields takes this job. If he doesn't get it before week 1, it'll be by week 3, week 4, week 5. It'll be somewhere around the first month of football, as the first month of football concludes, similar to the prediction, week 4. And this is something that I mentioned a little bit last night too. By week 4, could be week 5, could be week 6, but by around 1 month of failure. And it's not just that Russell Wilson doesn't have talent, it's that he's kind of broken too. Fields is broken, Russell Wilson's broken. They both are broken. But one of them is starting off with the other one nipping at the other one's heels. And to be fair, if Fields was starting off as a starter and he doesn't win the job and have confidence going into week 1, that'd be different. But if Fields were given the job right now without earning it and Russell Wilson was behind him, we might see him crumble. It's kind of like, I think Wilson's being set up for failure in a way similar to how Fields was set up for failure. I don't know that Russell Wilson's going to... I like him. Is there a chance Russell Wilson plays really good football and keeps the job for half a year and then gets hurt or something crazy like that happens and then he comes in and then you got a dilemma the next year? Sure. It's not out of the realm of possibility that Russell Wilson plays great. But this is the future. Russell Wilson's on a 1-year deal. Both quarterbacks are relatively cheap in the sense that you're not paying them long-term yet. You're not paying Fields this boatload of money, which he could command. If he works out, you'll be paying him a lot of money. If he doesn't work out, you might be able to re-sign him cheaply. And he might very much want to stay in Pittsburgh if he didn't even blow up or something. But I have a feeling that Fields is surrounded by talent, surrounded by a good run attack, surrounded by an elite wide receiver in Pickens. The fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers are linked to so many trades, the JJ trades are rumored right now. I don't think that ends up happening, but there's a lot of them. And so you got to at least take the smoke a little bit seriously that people are talking about it and like you're kicking around the idea. What would it look like? What could a deal even be? And that's the nature of smoke season. If you can't handle that, why are you even watching videos right now? If smoke bothers you, if you can't come in and hear a rumor and have a conversation about it because it's not proven yet, you got some problems with early content and off-season content. You might as well just show up in July or August when it's all decided and it doesn't stress you out, because the off-season is going to be littered with all kinds of rumors. And you got to be able to digest them. You got to be able to take them in, spit them back out, take them in, hold them, kind of mull them over. Talk about what the ramifications and impact would be. Talk about what the cost of entry would be on that type of trade. So in the case of Pittsburgh, maybe they're not going to trade for JJ. Maybe it's 100% smoke. But if it bothers you to talk about something that everyone is spreading around, even if it's false, you're probably not made for off-season football. I'll just tell you. Maybe it's not your thing. And that's okay. But you need to calm down if it pisses you off to hear that Justin Fields rumors to Pittsburgh are getting widespread. You got to calm down because that's happening, whether you like it or not. Leave it to a Niner fan. Niner Mike, there he is. 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 There's the first one. There's the first one. We got him. We got him. So my prediction is this. Fields looks amazing. Fields looks like a top 10 quarterback. I don't mean to one-up the prediction up there. Fields could look like a top 8 to 10 quarterback. Let me lock that in. 8 to 10 quarterback. Let me put it on the board. I can't win the contest, so it's okay if my prediction wins. But, like, in all fairness, this is what the show is about. So, I'm going to say top 8 to 10 quarterback. And he takes over. I'll put by midseason so that it's a little bit further away from your week 4 prediction. But I can't win it anyway. You're like, if the prediction lands, you're winning the contest versus me. Okay, so let me put it up on the board. So I'll put Fields, starter, week 8, top 8 to 10. Field starter. Justin Fields starter by midseason, by week 8, we'll say it. Week 8, top 8 to 10 quarterback. Per start. Obviously, if he's coming in at midseason, he can't be top 8 quarterback overall. You get the point. But Smitty, let me tell you why. And the reason the Steelers got rid of him was because he wasn't. Who's gonna say it? Who said it recently? Has anybody said it recently? Let me tell you why Justin Fields just is not an accurate quarterback, Smitty. He's not an accurate quarterback. He just isn't. Wait, Smitty, in 2023. He didn't connect with the janitor on a regular basis, and so he was not very accurate. Did I just enter a time machine and go back to the past? Isn't Fields a backup? This is Marquez. Marquez, we got another one! We just gotta take. You know what I'm gonna start doing? Comments that I think need to be addressed by the person like rewatching the show. We need to have like a rewind, like you're being thrown into the rewind bucket, buddy. Wait a minute. Isn't Fields the backup? Didn't you, Marquez, hear? Even if you just joined, didn't you hear me say by week 8? Didn't any of those words, Marquez, like register at all with you when I was saying it? Field starter by week 1. And that's, Robert, that's what I'm about to get to. I think there's a strong shot that he wins the job in camp. And quite honestly, while I think they want Russell Wilson to be the guy, and I think they quite honestly want to give him a shot almost no matter what, if Wilson struggles or even gets banged up a little bit, and let's say he's not going to be banged up for week 1, but he gets banged up in August, Fields comes in and looks electric, the fan base is going to call for it. There's a really, really strong chance. In fact, part of me wants to say he starts week 1. And not to one-up Matt, but part of me wants to say he starts week 1. And it all unfolds between now and September. We got a lot of time. It is March. We have the rest of March. We have, until April, May, June, July, August. We got 6 months. We got almost 7 months before Russell Wilson has to lose this job. Smoke Season says Russ will be the starter day one. They've already come out and said it. They got another one. We got another one. He's even named Smoke Season. Good God. What are we in? What are we in, a Twilight Zone? Are we in Bizarro World? They said it. They said it 7 months in advance? Good Lord. Should I just close the show now and restart and delete it? Or should I wait a few minutes, Smoke Season, before I restart the live stream? They said it? Oh, I'm gonna change it. We're going to go with he starts week 1. We're going to say, again, it has no bearing on Matt's prediction. Matt, your prediction is totally safe. It's your mistake in a way, Matt, for calling into the Fields and Marvin Harrison show and dropping it in the middle of it. You could have. I'll even let you tweak it a little bit if you want to just one-up me. It's fine, but then you'll have a less likelihood chance of winning it. So we're going to go week 1 starter. Top 8 to 10. That means he's got to be top 8 to 10 at the end of the year, though. We'll go a top 8 to 10. Week 1 starter, Justin Fields, 2024. Do it live.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Fields like making love.
Outstanding in his fields.
Fields so good.
Fields General.
My field's good. Uneven playing fields.
Battlefields tested.
Fields. He's for reals.
All right, that is about all she wrote in terms of the news. I guess there was this piece of news here. Odell Beckham Jr. Whoa, big deal. Hooray. Miami Herald. Dolphins are interested in Odell. Why? I don't know. Odell ain't going to do much. Ain't going to do much at all. And Matto, if you want to redo yours too, if you feel like it dampened yours or whatever, it's no problem. But your prediction, again, will still win. Like, we'll both land it, and then you'll win the contest. Because I'm not involved. I can't I guess I could co-host my own show. I guess technically it would look a little something like this. Why, hello. I won my own bold prediction contest, and I look who's co-hosting. Hey, stop talking while I'm talking. Hey, quiet down. Take a lap. Does this guy ever shut up? He's interrupting everything I'm saying. I won my own contest. $30 teams crapped the bed. 30 teams crapped the bed by not trading for Justin Fields. Oh, here comes the next comment. I think Keyboard Clifford's already typing. I can hear him. He's going like this.
Smitty, what do you mean 30 teams crapped the bed? The Steelers already said, just like the other guy said a second ago, they've already decided everything. They said Russ is starting no matter how bad he looks. Also, Smitty, they also said they're going to do right by Fields, and they turned down some better draft capital offers, is what I regurgitated from what I heard over there.
You believe whatever you want to believe. You believe whatever you want to believe. I'll tell you this. If I was in charge of the New England Patriots situation, And I went to the Pittsburgh Steelers and I said, you ask Fields right now. You get him on the ringer. And you ask him if he wants to come start for us instead of going to Pittsburgh. And we'll give you a 4th round pick. Doesn't even have to be conditional. We'll just give you the 4th rounder. Okay. Hey, Justin, yeah? Okay, we're in. Welcome to New England. And then all of a sudden, the New England Patriots draft Marvin Harrison Jr. at number 3 overall. And you have one of the best turnarounds in recent memory of an organization doing the right thing. And you can say, okay, Smitty, that's one team. There was supposedly offers for another team where he'd be the backup but didn't want to be the backup there. So the Steelers turned it down and went with the other offer. Let me tell you how you handle that. Hey, we heard you turned down our offer because he'd rather go to Pittsburgh. How about we circumvent this little friendship? Oh, let's do right by Fields and we give you a 3rd rounder, not conditional, straight up. Business is business, brother. Yeah, you'll do it? Okay. They're going to give Fields the bad news that they're no longer going to abide by their, oh, we'll do right by you. In business is business. They offered a 3rd rounder. See you later, Fields. Sorry. Don't give me that crap that you couldn't have one-upped anybody. 30 teams crapped the bed. 30 teams. Not 29, not 20, not just teams like New England that needed a quarterback. 30 teams. The Miami Dolphins sharded all over the bed. All over. All over. This is the best backup quarterback in the National Football League, so much so that he's going to become the starter. And I can't wait. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Boy. We still have a lot to discuss. Let me put the phone number on screen. Let me minimize Fields just a little bit. And if anybody's tired of talking about Fields, I got to tell you, like, we're not hitting it from just the same angle. So, this is the offseason. And we're talking about it starting week 1 for a team now, the Pittsburgh Steelers. None of this content is the same as before. It's all new content. It's all different content. Henry Smitty sounds like a religious freak thinking he's smarter than 30 other teams. Keep it up, Henry. That's all I'm going to say. Keep it up, Henry. We'll see. We'll see how much you enjoy the show. Phone lines are open. I might have not had it open yet. There you go. Even Arizona Cardinals could have gotten Fields as a backup. Everyone could have. Like, to trade Rondell Moore for Ritter instead of keeping Rondell Moore and giving up a even 5th round conditional. Oh, Ron Navy coming in and stepping all over Matt O. To be honest with you, I'm going to let you know up front, Matt O and Ron, if you guys both land something like this to where we can't tell, you'll both win and co-host. You'll both, maybe one of you gets if there's an additional prize and there's only one of it, we give the other one kind of prize and the other one the other kind of prize, but you both host a show. There's no way I can like, there almost has to be rules to one-upping somebody, or at least you can tie. You know what I mean? Fields MVP. Yeah. Ron's really turning back into a Steelers fan overnight. He just out of nowhere.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ron out of nowhere. Ron, I'm going to put yours on top of the other one. So 320 Fields MVP 2024. I don't think this one will happen. You never know. I don't think this one will happen. But dude, if he does go off and have this unbelievable year, like it would be the story everybody would want to go down. Ron was like anti-Steeler about 24 hours ago, but he's back. Ron's back, baby. He's back.
Mashed potatoes.
He's back, baby. Bill the Tickler says Smitty's content evolves ahead of supposed current content. You know, we hear it a lot. You know, Smitty, you're weird. You're a religious freak, is what's his name said about me. Henry, who is definitely buttoned up since I told him to stop that and cut that out. Any rules to the 1/10? Any rules to the 1/10 thing? Someone, what are we talking about on that one, Master? Appreciate your $5 holler. Can somebody enlighten me what he's trying to talk about? Talking about the rule change? Thank you for your super chat, bro. Who were the 4 teams that Fields vetoed? They didn't all come out. We just heard that there was a team that gave up more draft capital, but he didn't want to be behind that starting quarterback. Like, let's say it was the Bengals or something. You know, he can unseat Russell Wilson. But I can tell you right now, if a team upped the ante, we're talking about a 6th rounder, 5th rounder, probably was a 5th rounder, or maybe it was a 6th rounder conditional to 4, but it could have been a projected higher pick. Or maybe it was 6th rounder and 5th rounder conditional to 4, both of them. Like, of course they're going to try and do right by Fields when you're talking about a 6th round pick. Someone said the Raiders was one. Could have been. But I don't think he would have turned that down. I'd love to know if that's factual, because why would you not want to go to the Raiders and be the starting quarterback? But maybe he viewed Minshew as a bigger threat than Russell Wilson. It's very possible. Pats had to be one of those teams. I don't know how in the world you would turn down the Patriots job with no quarterback there, and you're getting Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think the Patriots were one of the teams at all. I don't think so. Ron Navy, you're live. Someone said you should have made him the comeback player of the year, not the MVP.
No, I mean, if you look at Lamar Jackson's stats, MVP, you look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields is like right on his nip. So if Lamar Jackson can do it, it's not that far fetched that Lamar.
No, I mean. I don't.
Can do it.
I think that if he was to come out and have like that amazing comeback story, everybody would want him to. Like, they would be rooting for him to be. I think it's a very big stretch, but I love it. I love bold predictions. It's a bold prediction board, people. It's a bold prediction board for a reason. And you're not going to be far off of what we've got on there so far, because everything on it is about Fields. I think Fields is going to be on a mission. I think he was smart by picking Pittsburgh over, let's say, teams that didn't have a clear path. I don't agree that New England was one of them. If they were, I'd be shocked, because that's an open path, and they would have taken MHJ. Or, you know, you could look at it from this perspective. If he did, let's say, shoot down New England doesn't look like they know what they're doing. You know, would they even drafted Marvin Harrison Jr., or would they just traded down and given him nothing? I don't know. You know, maybe he feels that confident in unseating Russell Wilson. I don't know. But I don't blame him. I think he's going to be nipping at his heels. Russell Wilson is a short-term answer. Fields is more of the long-term option. And there's a really good chance that the Pittsburgh Steelers' future is Justin Fields, not Russell Wilson, who is on a 1-year deal, getting paid by another team, essentially. He's getting $1.2 million, but Justin Fields is the one that has the promising longer-term outlook. And, you know, either one of them play great, they will want to extend them. But, you know, this whole Pittsburgh Steelers country let's ride is coming out of, I think, Justin Fields' mouth, not Russ's.
Well, I mean, Travis is saying it's insane. I did a 180, but if you look at the stats, and I'm going by the stats, Fields has been playing right behind our current MVP of the NFL, which is Lamar Jackson. His stats are very comparable.
I like that you did a 180 though. I think Travis would agree. I think he said last night he's glad that the new Ron's back or the old Ron's back.
Got him stats though. I mean, you can't deny stats. You know I'm big on stats.
Well, everybody would tell you that Fields has the worst stats known to man. That's what most people will want to tell you. Most people will want to use his 2023 season and drag him down. I'm not going to. I think it's ridiculous for people to utilize horrible stats that have nothing to do with Justin Fields and muddy the stat waters by talking about how he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he should have done this, he should have done that. He had a horrible, accurate. He was horrible in the accuracy categories as well as throwing interceptions based on the number of passes he threw. And it's like he had 11 INTs during what was supposed to be and what could arguably be one of the toughest years for a quarterback in the last 2 or 3 years in terms of setting a quarterback up for failure. Like he had nobody to throw to and he threw 11 INTs. 11.
How many touchdowns did he throw? How many touchdowns did he throw? You look at that. And if you compare to how many touchdowns he threw compared to how many Lamar threw, they're right there. They're right next to each other. And the rushing yards, too. So, and the interceptions. All three of those stats are very comparable.
Yeah, and keep in mind, everybody, like, they can franchise tag him next year, too, if they want to. They could also just pick up his fifth-year option and not have to worry about anything. They can pick up his fifth-year option, make him play, like, especially if he doesn't earn it. Like, let's say we're all a little bit rambunctious here. We're all a little bit too, trigger happy on this, and it takes him a while to get in, and he looks very serviceable and looks really good at the end, and he comes out very promising. Just pick up his option. But then they can franchise tag. Like, there is ways, if he isn't playing out of his mind and commanding the money, there's ways to keep him. And he'd be plenty happy with a franchise tag. To be honest with you, if he didn't blow up and have the best year ever, he'd be pretty happy with that in a sense. But if he plays as well as I think he could play when he gets in there, and he'll be playing with his back against the wall. In Chicago, he's playing scared. He was playing all alone. He was playing someone else's game. I think in Pittsburgh, even though I don't like Arthur Smith, I do believe there, like we talked about the other night, that there's bigger players at play in terms of Fields in the QB room that might allow Fields to not have to necessarily endure some of Arthur Smith's decision-making just because Arthur's OC. I do believe Arthur Smith is going to be focused on the run. And we'll have to see how it all plays out. But I believe that the QB coordinator, QB coach in Pittsburgh is going to have some control. And I think Fields will be able to be opened up. And a lot of the impromptu type stuff that Fields does will get him out of some of the trouble that maybe play calling could get him in because he's got so much more talent. He never had the talent that Caleb's about to be handed. Nor do I think that the dare I say, the Chicago offense is not, it might not even be more talented than the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. It's very easy for people to say Pittsburgh doesn't have a good offense because Pickett, in the way that they utilize Pickett, which is part of, the problem of Canada and Tomlin and everything you want to lump in that Ron Navy would yell and scream about. We don't need to go there. We've already done that show after show. But Pickens, they're actively going after and trying to get another wide receiver. Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, you got Jalen Warren and Najee Harris. You got a really great defense. And I'm not saying Chicago's not building something solid too, but you have one of the better defenses in the National Football League. You have, Ron, what would you score your offensive line? A scale of 1 to 10. Honest truth.
From last season?
No.
From what we had, or from?
Just what do you think it's going to be this year?
I think it might go from a 6 to a 7.
Okay. And probably an added wide receiver. I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe they go after a rookie. And you could do that with the 20 pick, right? You have the 20 pick. You could easily take a Leggett. You take a Leggett. You take a Malachi Corley. Maybe Thomas Jr. slips a little bit more than we all even envision. and you move up to get him, like Thomas Jr. or something like that. But if you get a receiver, I'd venture to say that Keenan Allen, who's 32 years old this year, 32 years old, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore without Fields. We don't know what DJ Moore is going to be without Fields because Fields fed him in a unique way. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, who I love the guy, but he's in Chicago now, and I don't know how they're going to use him. There's also other RBs in the room. So someone tell me how this Chicago Bear offense is better than the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, because I don't think you can say it. You could say they're even if you want. Like, I totally let you have that. But there's no way someone could come in and you could call in if someone's going to tell me that the Chicago Bear offense is light years ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I know the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has been crapping the bed too. They both have. And Arthur Smith is the worst possible scenario that I could cook up. However, I have a suspicion, and I talked about it the other night, and I could be wrong on this. But I do believe that Mike Sullivan, I don't know if you had a chance to even look into any more of it, Ron, but I do have a suspicion that Mike Sullivan, who was promoted into the, I believe his position now is the, what is he? Senior offensive assistant to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now is he also the quarterback coach on top of that? Or I think he's also quarterback coach and senior offensive assistant. I have a suspicion that the success that Pittsburgh have, and I don't have a whole lot to go on. I'm being completely transparent on this. I'm just wondering why Arthur Smith was the hire. And I think it was for the run. I think kind of like Zach Robinson, and this is the way the NFL is kind of working in terms of coaching trees, and you notice this with teams. That's why QB coordinators and QB coaches are being ripped from their job, like Zach Robinson in LA, and brought over to be an offensive coordinator. They're not just taking other OCs and bringing them over. You're seeing QB coordinators and QB coaches be brought over as OCs. And I think there's a really strong chance that Sullivan might be because they retained him, because they kept escalating or they kept elevating him, that he is a big reason why you saw Rudolph and some success at the end of the year. So all I'm going to say is this. I think that Fields is going to get unlocked at some point, and without his back to the wall, without a garbage organization running him into the ground, with having some trust maybe with the staff, I think you're going to see him be rejuvenated. And this whole development thing, he's finally going to get a little bit more development. I believe that they're going to have the right pieces in place that are not related to Arthur Smith necessarily, but the right pieces in place that, good God, man, I have a really, really good feeling about this.
Everybody's asking if I still want Tomlin gone. And here's the thing, and I said it last night, I think, on when I was on. I'm excited about Omar Khan and what he's done. And with what he's done, if Tomlin can't have success with this team, yes, I want him gone. Because we're going to show, this year will show what kind of coach he really is. And if he's what I suspect he is, then he'll be gone. But I'm excited. I'm holding on to what Omar's done, Omar Khan. That's more of my positivity's coming from.
Yeah, and I'd be excited about the fact that again, Russ is on a 1-year deal, and if he gets unseated at all, they're not going to bring him back, or they could, but as a backup, but I doubt they would. But you've got Fields here longer term. Fields is here longer term. Is he a free agent, an unrestricted free agent in 2026? Yes, but you've got options. You got franchise tag. You got 5th-year option. You've got extension. You've got a plethora of ways to keep him. And so when someone says, this is why on the board I put week 1, this is why I ultimately changed it. Because at the end of the day, Russell Wilson's guaranteed nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I kind of look at Russell Wilson starting week 1, if they do, like the Jets starting Dalvin Cook over Breece Hall last year in week 1. Or wanting to play him more. Why? So that they didn't ruin Breece Hall in week 1. Tough schedule. The Jets had one of the most brutal running schedules at the beginning of the year, and Hall was still getting his feet wet, and they brought in Cook to do the dirty work to ruin him, drive him into the ground, and then roll over to Breece Hall. I believe in a weirdly similar fashion that Russell Wilson's going to be a punching bag for the bumps in the road, maybe initially, and then Fields is going to make him just lose the job. He's just going to be looking over his shoulder. Russell Wilson's already got a confidence problem, most definitely, from the situation he came from. How could he not? It's not even his fault. But Fields, either way, the Steelers have a great situation. Absolutely. Because if Fields doesn't take the job, Russ is doing good.
Remember this. Okay, they got Omar picked up Russell Wilson before he knew he could get Fields, right? So he got Russell Wilson. Now he was able to get Fields. What would people think if all of a sudden he turns and he trades Russell Wilson to somebody like New England that needs that quarterback?
Yeah. I agree with you. And it's crossed my mind, could Fields even be traded in some deal coming up in the next handful of months? If some quarterback goes down, could the Steelers take the number 20? Like, here's the thing. Ron, right now, you got to answer this question yes or no. Yes or no. You're probably the wrong person to ask this because you're in Fields mode right now. Like, I know you really well. But let me ask the chat this, and then I can also ask you. Would you trade 20 and Justin Fields for JJ right now?
20 and who?
Justin Fields for JJ.
I think JJ is going to command a lot more, but if that deal could be made, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said yes, because I was wondering if you're so high on Fields now, that you would just commit to that no matter what. But okay, and I'm pretty sure the entire audience would. Like, I'm not saying that trade's feasible, but like let's just say
you paid that over $30 million a year, and I don't think Steelers will do that.
But here's the crazy part, is that if you took, let's say, 23 and 11 and turned it into number 3, okay? Like, you could essentially take, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you take 11 and 23, turn it into 3. You draft Marvin Harrison Jr. You trade JJ for Fields in the 20 and probably an additional first rounder. I just wanted to get your feel on it. Like, if you'd even, like, you could do something like that in the case of you make a decision, you say, okay, keep it at 20. Like, you could do something like that. and it makes sense. Like, there's avenues you could go down. Like, that would be crazy. I mean, that would be crazy. And everybody's going to laugh at this. Oh, it's not going to happen. No one cares about it's not going to happen. Like, why are you here? Anybody that's typing that right now, I'd think twice about hitting send, because no one wants anyone here that doesn't want to have conversations. We're having conversations. We're spitballing deals. If you can't handle that, why are you here? Why? Why are you here? That would be crazy. My mind is spinning. But my whole point is that 30 teams screwed the pooch on this one, because they could have got a trade asset. If a quarterback goes down or somebody decides later on to do a crazy move, let's say JJ demands a trade. Let's say JJ goes, you guys screwed me on Cousins. I wanted Cousins in-house. You didn't listen to me there. I don't want a rookie quarterback. I don't like J.J. McCarthy, who you guys are talking about. I don't know anything about him. I want to trade. Now Minnesota's in a bind. Maybe the Cardinals are dumb and they don't want J.J. or Marvin Harrison Jr. Wouldn't surprise me one bit, to be honest with you, as a Cardinal fan. So the Cardinals trade for the 11 and the 23. Minnesota goes to 4. They take Marvin Harrison Jr. They trade JJ to the Steelers for Fields in the 20 and let's just call it a future first rounder for everybody that says there's no way in hell that would happen. We got to spice it up more so those people will be on board. But Ron, in your head, just picture the deal you like. Okay. So now all of a sudden the Steelers have Russell Wilson, which I'd rather have Fields and JJ for Pittsburgh, but Russell Wilson, JJ. Minnesota's got Marvin Harrison Jr. and Fields, and the Cardinals have jack shit. That's a deal. I could see those things happening. Like, those are the kind of things that are crazy.
The only thing I see bad about that, Smitty, is if you trade Fields away, that means you're committed to Russell Wilson. You're going to have to pay him a big contract.
But you got
next
JJ.
Year. You have to pay JJ on top of that, and I just have a hard time thinking the Steelers would do that.
Yeah, but you'd have.
I would think they.
I know it's not likely. I know it's not likely, but that was just one thing.
Yeah,
Henry says, why wouldn't the Cardinals want the greatest wide receiver prospect in decades? I don't know, Henry. You tell me. You tell me why the Cardinals always trade down. Like, what do you think? I don't want Marvin Harrison Jr., Henry in Arizona? Is that what you think? Why would the Cardinals not want anything? Why would they want the 11 and 23? I don't know, Henry. You tell me. Cardinals are just petrified of taking a good player. They love trading down. I'm gonna break an expensive piece of machinery if on the live stream, and I'll be live during the NFL draft, if the Cardinals trade out of the pick. I will break something of note. Maybe it'll be Ziggy. Maybe we'll finally get rid of Ziggy with a bat. Oh, God. You hear him? You hear him? He didn't like that at all. He turned himself off. He restarted.
Rip your mic.
Yeah. Crazy. Anyway. All right, Ron, anything else? Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate the $50 hauler. Ron to the moon.
I didn't know about I was serious. I hadn't seen it, and I didn't know what happened.
To the horn, yeah, it was a big old deal. It pissed everybody off that didn't want it. When I took it away. All the pro boss horn people were so mad at me. Everyone was mad at me. It was I was a punching bag for it. It was crazy. I measured it. I had a lot of data. There's a lot of reason to think that people were sitting in their bed and they had their TV on and they didn't want to change how they listened to the show. So they just stopped, hey, I'll listen to you in the morning. And, things started to not significant, but noticeable, like that people were like, hey, I can't watch you at night right now. If you're firing off this boss horn, I had to do what I had to do. But it's okay.
Those are no fun. People that don't like to have fun.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It was real. It was real, regardless.
No
what?
No fun, Frank.
Yeah, no fun, Frank. No fun, Franks. But hey, we need those people here too. Smitty will be celebrating if Arizona Cardinals get Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors. Yeah, I mean, I'll be happy with Malik too, but I don't want to trade down, and we better not take Malik over Marvin, because I won't be that happy. Honestly, I'll be pretty upset. I'd rather have Roma Dunze over Malik Neighbors. I love both of them, but I love Roma Dunze. I love Roma. He's my number 2. I love all 3. They're all really, really good. All right, Ron, anything else? What do I think
he'll do today, Juan?
Thank God Keenan Allen went to the Bears, because I think they're a little less likely, not totally, but a little less likely to go Dunze at 9 now. I think MHJ goes to Arizona. I think Neighbors goes to the Chargers. I think the Giants might take Roma Dunze, or if they don't, if he goes to, I don't think he'll go to Atlanta now, because they have Rondell Moore, they have Mooney, and those are pretty good options. But it wouldn't surprise me if they said, look, those are good options, but we want a Dunze. Where do I want him to go? Indy. I think he would run circles around Michael Pittman Jr. I wouldn't even be worried about it. Every time somebody came in and go, what about Michael Pittman Jr.? I'd laugh. I like Michael Pittman Jr., but he's not an elite wide receiver 1. I don't care what he got paid. I would love a Dunze in... God, I don't really like much in this 9 to 16 range, bro. Denver, I don't want it. Minnesota, obviously too crowded. Jets, well, thank you. Too crowded now. Mike Williams there. Chicago, I don't want him there. Too crowded, and I don't want him there. Denver, no way. Who's throwing the ball to him? I don't want him there. Denver's a mess. Las Vegas, there's some allure long-term, but it's certainly not the greatest 2024 landing spot. Like, if they bring in a great quarterback eventually, and Adams is going to get older, I like what Pierce is doing, but I don't really want him here. This is not good. Josh became a member. Appreciate you, Josh. Indy is my favorite.
What about
Who dropped gifted memberships? Who was that? Was it Perps? Perps gifted 20 memberships. What's he doing? But he activated the case. He activated the case.
Alert. Super chat alert.
I just cleaned up in here. I think Perps does this on purpose. He knows I cleaned up my office. And this replaces the boss horn essentially. It's a case of cash, and I dump it all over my head, and it goes everywhere. So, congrats, Perps, for activating the case. Appreciate you. Perps to the moon, dropping 20 gifted, which is equivalent to like dropping a $100 hauler. Let's go, Perps. Appreciate you. And if anybody doesn't know, my floor is just completely covered now. It's absolutely a mess. Perps to the moon. Appreciate you, Perps. Activating Operation Money Case. What were we talking about, Ron? Thank you, Perps.
We're talking about a dude, and I asked you about what about Tennessee?
Later, Golf. Appreciate you, bro. Golf to the moon. I don't know. I think Hopkins is old enough to where it doesn't bother me for 2024 too much, but it's certainly not great. And we don't know what Levis is, and I don't really love Tennessee. But I don't know that Tennessee's incapable of building properly. They just need to. It's going to be a little while. To be honest with you, if Dable stays in New York, like if he doesn't get fired or something, I really don't mind a Dunze in New York for the long term. Because as much as Dable's craft the bed with this Danny Dimes contract, I still believe if he does get his quarterback, and maybe Fields is a good midseason trade, or Russell Wilson is a good midseason trade to the New York Giants, but if they get their quarterback somehow, some way, or it's just next year because they're the last place team in the league, then Adunze's got amazing value, long term, because Dable, I think, is good. I think I want it to be Indy, bro. And quite frankly, if let's say Neighbors goes 5, Arizona goes Marvin Harrison Jr., and then Tennessee doesn't go, maybe they go Brock Bowers. Maybe the Giants go quarterback, and then Atlanta, because they filled their wide receiver room, and Chicago, they don't take receivers. And all of a sudden you get through Denver. Let's say Denver takes, let's say they take Thomas Jr. over a Dunze. You never know. If we could get Indy, if we could get a Dunze or Thomas Jr. to fall to Indy, I will be to the moon. But I mainly want Indy to get a Dunze. I want him in Indy. I don't know, man. Part of me hopes he goes to the Chargers. I don't know. That's the problem, is I don't know that all 3 receivers are going to land in ideal 2024 spots. It sucks. It sucks, man. A Dunze in New York won't be good for 2024. I think he's good enough that he can kind of survive, but it won't be great. He can't be an elite wide receiver. He can't be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver like Neighbors and MHJ are capable of if they're in LAC in Arizona. The other hope is somebody trades up and they trade up for him. And a team that could trade up for him, the Bengals, let T. Higgins walk next year? Because T. Higgins ain't staying. You what?
Steelers could do it too. They can move up with their 20 pick. They're looking for a receiver. Hard. If they can't sign one, they'll do it in the draft.
Buffalo, they get rid of Diggs and trade up. I love that. That'd probably be my number one landing spot. Cincy would be one. No, Buffalo would be one because Chase is still going to overshadow Odunze. I would say Buffalo number one, Indy number two, and the Bengals three only because they both still be stellar. I don't know.
For Buffalo to move up, they'd have to shop Diggs with the pick to move up with the pick. Wouldn't you think?
Buffalo's going to have to get into the. Anybody who wants to Dunze's got to get into the top 12 to guarantee it. And you're not even guaranteed it, but I mean you're guaranteed a shot because Denver might take them. I mean Denver. Think about it. Every team that's traded away somebody, they're likely to. Like Denver getting rid of Judy opens the door that they are going to draft a receiver at some point early on being at least round 1 or round 2. Jacksonville runner boy, I don't know. Jacksonville, they feel like they're like a paper tiger landing spot. Like they sound good because you got a quarterback that may or may not develop, and I don't know. I mean, look at Ridley. Like what will make anybody think that Jacksonville would be reliable for a Dunze? I don't like it. Damn it. I don't know where I'm really fearful of where Odunze is going to go. I can only hope that Odunze increases his value enough and his neighbors is the one that gets screwed. I know a lot of neighbors supporters won't want to hear that, but I'm just saying I'd rather have neighbors go to New York and let him develop later with a quarterback of the future and put Odunze in a LAC jersey. And if anybody thinks that Neighbors isn't going to get unseated by Odunze with some workouts and such, buckle up. It's going to be a close race. Buckle up. Yeah,
I think we're gonna have some shocks just like we did last year.
Yeah.
And we're going to have disappointment last year, too.
Theo.
Especially, like, with Charbonnet, Seattle.
Theo, you're live.
Yeah, does the Tennessee Titans situation remind you at all of the 2021 draft with Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell versus Joe Alt and Rome Odunze?
Yeah. I would say because I do liken Odunze to the next Jamar Chase. I mean, it does make sense to say like, what do they do? Do they go wide receiver? Or do they? But they do have Hopkins, so it's I guess you could say Hopkins and Higgins are on similar, even though they're totally different stages of their career. One was elite. One Higgins has never been elite, but he's probably as good, if not better, than Hopkins right now. So very, very comparable. Yeah, I think that could definitely be a conversation. I think you could make that conversation though with anybody that's going to take Odunze though. Like the Giants or the.
Yeah, the only reason I thought of it is because Levis got drafted last year and Callahan was the one that drafted Burrow and Chase.
Now, if you're asking me, do I think Levis becomes Joe Burrow? Hell no. If you're asking me just in terms of deciding,
I'm asking, what do you think Callahan's gonna do?
Some people in the chat are saying hell no, I'm wondering why they're so adamant about. But I think they're thinking that you mean that Levis becomes Joe Burrow and the Tennessee Titans become the Bengals. Okay, I just want to clarify that because everybody was like, no, and I'm like, I don't think that's what he means. But yeah, I mean, like whether you take an offensive lineman
I'm saying the decision's similar for
the chicken or the egg. What comes first, the receiver or the offensive lineman? I get it, and I was an advocate of Joe Burrow needs Jamar Chase, not Penei Sewell. And
yeah,
some people still argue against me.
The range of Rome is probably that 7 pick, so I feel like does Callahan take him over Joe Alt, which I hope doesn't happen because Levis isn't nearly as good as Burrow. And
Bro, you've got
Ridley
Burks and Hopkins, though. There's a very high likelihood.
And Ridley.
Yeah, and Ridley. Excuse me. I almost forgot. I literally almost forgot. You got literally no definite. I would say the likelihood of the Titans locking in on Odunze, like the Bengals did on Jamar Chase. And remember, Jamar Chase and Burrow, the rapport was just, you knew that they wanted to reconnect, and Burrow wanted it. Burrow said, "Hey, I want Jamar Chase," and there's some refuted reports on that, but I had it from good authority that Burrow said it, and he actually said, "I want Jamar Chase." He obviously doesn't make the decision, but he was asked, and he wanted Jamar Chase. And people still argue with me on that. They're like, "Well, Burrow got hurt last year, so clearly they should have took Sewell." And it's like, come on, bro, use your brain. Like they've made it so far. The Bengals have already had huge runs where they were almost marching into a Super Bowl appearance because of that decision. Just because Joe Burrow got hurt, you don't even know if he would have got hurt anyway. But of course, they need to better their offensive line. I will say that Cincinnati, in that draft where they took Jamar Chase, they didn't do a good job of drafting second-round offensive linemen. That draft was littered with good second-round offensive linemen, and they took conversion players that they tried to convert to different positions and such, instead of taking some of the best offensive line second-round players still on the board. I was dumbfounded, and it wasn't like Jamar Chase was a bad pick. It was that they didn't deploy it as good as they could have, but.
So then if the Titans like their receiver room enough and the Giants take Neighbors, then Rome is going to go to a pretty good landing spot unless someone trades up for
that's
him.
What we just said, though. I don't think so, bro. I think Rome he's roaming around in dangerous territory. He's got Chicago. He's got the Jets. He's got.
If he goes to Atlanta or the Jets, I feel like the Jets wouldn't be bad. I'd like that.
I don't know, man. It's crowded. And then on top of that, you've got, of course, Atlanta would be good. Atlanta would be good because he would
want to utilize him.
He would unseat everybody in Atlanta. And I love Drake London. And I think Drake London and him would be a good debate. I don't think that's a lock, but I think, ultimately you're talking about Drake London, and Odunze, and then everybody else is secondary. Everybody else is secondary. But like New York,
I don't
Chicago,
think Chicago or Tennessee takes them.
Yeah, but you're saying if he gets past a certain territory, I'm telling you, you've got horrible landing spots. Chicago, Minnesota's too crowded, they won't do it. Denver's not a good spot. Who's throwing to him? Las Vegas, this could be very crowded, and there's no quarterback. New Orleans, that's very crowded. Who's the quarterback? Indy's the best spot, and then Seattle's too crowded. Jacksonville's not very good. I think everyone says Jacksonville, but I don't know why they do.
I feel like someone has to trade up for Rome.
They have to, but Indy needs to do it. If Indy sees him there, they need to get Anthony Richardson another receiver. And I know that everybody loves Michael Pittman Jr., but he's not an elite wide receiver one. You get Rome Odunze, he's going to the moon. AR5 to Rome, I love it. Atlanta, Rome Odunze.
And I don't think Jerry Jones is smart enough to trade up for Rome, but that would be great.
Would it? I mean, it'd be okay, but would it be great? I don't know if it'd be great.
They don't have a good number 2 wide receiver.
But we don't want him to be a number 2 wide receiver. He's the next Jamar Chase. What do you want him going there?
With that pass volume, it would be. He could easily be supported as a.
He would take away from Lamb. He wouldn't have a chance to be a top 5 wide receiver like I think he could be. I wouldn't want him in Dallas. It'd be better for 2024 than a bad spot with no quarterback, but I don't want a short-term answer for Rome. I want an elite landing spot for Rome.
Yeah, it'd probably be better in real life than it would for
fantasy.
For
real
sure.
life, it'd be great. But I mean, all right. Hey, Theo, anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, Theo, appreciate you, bro.
All right, have a good night.
Later. Yeah, there's a big difference between real life and fantasy. We could have two different conversations. I do agree. You know, Roma Dunze and Dallas would be great from a football perspective, but you know, would it be crazy? Like, what if KC traded up and grabbed him or something like crazy like that? I don't think they will, but that would be insane.
Didn't KC? Did they just bring in a wide receiver?
Yeah, they got Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So
can you imagine though, Mahomes, if he had a Dunze, Hollywood, and Rashee Rice? Everybody talking about how he's got no wide receivers, then he's got the best, maybe arguably the best future wide receiver room in the league. It'd be crazy, man. AJ Brown could be. I mean, it's not crazy to think they try and trade him in the offseason if they brought in Rome, but Young says, can you read my loyal membership shirt? Sorry, Young. Let's see. Celebratory messages. Celebration time. That boy, his first one is 16-month membership. MHJ doesn't need to do a pro day. That's right. Absolutely agree with you. Birdman Smitty will be celebrating. Oh, I found the wrong message. I'm sorry. Hold on. Young, 8-month membership. Leggett talks like Randy Moss. He's generational. Oh, Leggett talks like Randy. I thought you were saying there was talk about him like Randy Moss. I'm like, bro, come on. He talks like Randy Moss. His accent. Yeah, he does. Leggett's got one of the most unique accents that you'll ever hear. It's very much like Randy Moss. He's like, yeah, y'all gonna go catch that football over there, y'all. It's funny. Leggett definitely does sound like Randy. That's funny. Ron, anything else?
Yeah, I heard some news today that Kelsey and Swift might be splitting up.
No.
They just, used her for the Super Bowl and NFL rating. That's what it's beginning to look like.
It is smoke season, though, Ron. Let's look it up. Ziggy, are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce breaking up?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are still together.
Ziggy off. I don't know that that's correct, though. Let's go to our correspondent that's in Vegas that might have heard a little bit more about this information. Let's go to our correspondent, Bill the Tickler. Bill, is there any word around the Vegas parts that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are breaking up? All right, Bill's out of here. Bill, call back in. I don't know what happened.
He didn't get tickled enough.
Yeah. Call back in, Bill. Are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce breaking up?
No, D-Town, it's not fake news. It's smoke news.
Why is it trending? Part ways after a brief reunion in Sydney. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. I don't know. It's probably part of the smoke season. I bet you somebody wanted to up the value of Travis Kelce in their dynasty league, and they dropped that smoke, and they're trying to get somebody to be like, he's focused. Okay,
No.
I'll trade for him.
Would want to know my source? I heard it on Sirius XM Channel 8.
Okay, let's go to our Las Vegas drama correspondent, Bill the Tickler. Bill, are you hearing? Are you hearing anything in Vegas?
Yes. Yes. Smitty. The clouds have cleared. The rain has passed, and Taylor and Travis, they're going to be just fine. They will continue on. They might three-peat in their relationship for years. However, the main reason I'm calling in is that this has been a major smoke season, and I just wanted to cause a back to the summer school movie from the 80s. A tension breaker, and it had to be done, my friend. It had to be done.
He's taking a while to get to the point, isn't he? Bill, I don't know what just happened. I kind of missed it. What were you even saying? You lost me.
He was in summer school.
Oh, it's been so long since I was.
Thank you, Rod Navy. Thank you, Rod Navy.
I definitely am old. I definitely am older, but summer school, that movie was even older than me. And I would say by about like I was maybe like 5 or I don't know how old I was, but that just missed me. Like I remember seeing summer school, but I didn't even understand it. I was that young. So I'm almost positive about 80% of the audience has no idea what you're talking about. Maybe 90%. But
90%. Well, because usually when I'm on air, it's 205% doesn't know what I'm talking about. So to get us to 90%, Smitty, you have worked many ways with me, and I really appreciate your work with me. Rod Navy, you have helped that cause as well.
Yeah. Anyway, appreciate it. Hey, raise your hand if you got the summer school movie reference and put a thumb down or
summer school. Smitty, like 1989. In 1989, you were 5 years old. Come on, stop. You were not 5 years old in 1989.
Well, I wasn't that far away from 5 years old. I don't know how old you think I am, but that was definitely when I didn't understand a movie like that, and nor was I allowed to watch it.
Yeah, had Mark.
Do you think I'm 75 years old?
No.
I mean, Bill, I'm a little offended.
You were no longer in your 30s, and you were somewhere in your 40s. Would be my guess of when you say, Bill, how old do you think I am? I think you're at least 40 something.
But I would say that that is a movie I was not allowed to. I couldn't drive to it. I couldn't. There was no way to watch it. I think I eventually saw.
Wait. First you said you weren't old enough to watch it. Now you're saying you weren't allowed to. So I mean, do you see my differential, the breakdown? Ron Navy, help me out here, please.
I mean, I was barely watching TV at this point in time. I'm just saying, like I was watching Wizard of Oz. And,
is Arizona that desolate? Smitty.
No, but I mean, I wasn't watching adult content then. I was watching I was barely out of Sesame Street at that point. You know.
I don't even think summer school is R-rated. I don't know that. I can't look it up right now. I can, but I would hope somebody in the chat. Summer school wasn't R-rated. Maybe NC-17, or probably PG. 15.
I mean, it was definitely like 8
Sorry. I'm good.
Hey,
I'm good.
What was Revenge of the Nerds? Hey, what year was Revenge of the Nerds?
Oh, that was like 3 to 5 years before summer school. 83, 84, Ron Navy. The first Revenge of the Nerds?
Yeah.
Why do I remember that one, but not much summer school? Ziggy, what year did Revenge of the Nerds come out?
Revenge of the Nerds, that was like the skinniest John Goodman ever.
Revenge of the Nerds was released on August 10th, 1984.
1984?
Remember
You know why?
Ogre, you. Oh.
I met Ogre in a bar in California.
No.
At Redondo Beach area.
There's Revenge of the Nerds 2. There was Revenge of the Nerds 3. I think that's probably why I saw Revenge of the Nerds. All right, hold on. Let's get off this topic, okay? Let me get back on track here. Runner Boy says,
I love you acting like you're under 40. Sure. I love
Ziggy
it.
off.
I love it.
Thomas Jr. goes to Buffalo. What's his rank in rookie wide receivers? So they'd obviously have to trade up. He would be arguably, I mean, if they get rid of Diggs, whether they cut him or they've been freeing up a lot of money, he's a toxic person on this team, or they trade him. They'll probably trade him. They basically will have someone take them for free to get the contract off the books, even though there's a huge dead cap. But the word is right now that Diggs is more likely staying than going. That is what I've heard from several, again, smoke-related generated, conversations that I've had with people that I believe are a little bit more dialed in. They're local, but it's all smoke. But the feeling is that Buffalo is sticking by. They're not getting rid of him. It doesn't mean that they're going to stick to it at the end of the day, though, if the right offer comes along. If they can get rid of the contract, take the dead cap hit, which is going to be massive for this year, but they guaranteed money anyway. Then it depends on like what they can get back. They probably take very little just to get the future contract dollars off the books. So if let's just say in a crazy world, Diggs was off the roster, then honestly, we'd need to have a 2024 conversation, depending on where Odunze and Neighbors go, about Thomas being the number 2 or number 3 wide receiver in the draft class. He might take out one of them for 2024 value, and then his development would determine whether he could surpass one of them long term. But I think people need to remember that, look at Tank Dell, look at a lot of wide receivers. Just because you're not the number 2 or number 3 ranked wide receiver in the draft class right out of the gate doesn't mean you can't climb up and be the number 1. Just like Stroud was consensus 1B or 2, and he's by far, obviously, he's a top 5 quarterback now. So like it doesn't matter what we think now. Clearly there's projections that you can make, but like landing spot, how a player progresses at the next level is huge. And, I don't know. Thomas Jr. I like a lot, though. I love him. Brian Thomas Jr. goes to the right spot like Buffalo, he could be huge. Appreciate the question. But a lot of moving parts to that question.
I must say, Smitty, you flawlessly changed the subject quick and just cut that whole movie thing off.
Well,
but the chat is in movies and 80s thing right now. The chat's like not even thinking football. They're talking about the 80s and the movies.
Well, I mean, I like don't get me wrong, I like the 80s. I'm definitely an 80s like baby. I definitely love the 80s, but I'm more so like the tail end of the 80s, and then it wasn't like I know the adult movie. Like I love the look of it. That's why I put my I made my hood matte black. I think my vehicle looks very 80s like now. Like that's where I kind of got that theme. It's almost like
You've been training. What type of training? Army training, sir.
I don't know where that's coming from. What's that from? What movie is that from?
Stripes with Bill Murray.
I didn't watch Stripes either.
Don't call me Francis.
Wow.
I quote movies all the time. I'm a big movie quote guy. A lot of people don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. I drop movie quotes like 5 times a show. People don't even know it. I'm big on movies. But anything that late, I just want to have.
Stripes was iconic.
When was Stripes?
And I'm not a movie guy at all. I'm a music guy.
When was the movie Stripes released?
83?
82.
81. Ron, what do you mean? It's the same. It's 81. It's even earlier. Like, of course I didn't see this movie live. But
all these years, still haven't watched it though. That's the amazing part.
The first movie,
Smitty.
The first movie I ever remember going to was E.T.
I saw that. I feel like I was like 5 when I saw
Ziggy, when did E.T. come out in theaters?
I saw Star Wars in the movie theater.
82, 87, 82, 83. 82,
83. Did they maybe re-release it? How would I have seen that in the movie theater?
You did. You had the crappy Atari game that you couldn't like maneuver.
I bet you they re-released it because I remember going to the theater to see that. They must have re-released it.
When I was young, I saw Pong. Pong was the first thing that came out before Atari. It was Pong.
Oh, Pong.
Ping pong. Tennis. Doink, doink,
And
doink.
I always thought Ron Navy was around 55, 56.
Hey, what was that movie?
Yeah.
What was that movie called where it was about a floppy disk? It was a floppy disk, and it had
Not
like
strong.
no, hold on. It had like war secrets on it. It was like war games or not war games.
War Games. Yeah, what, Matthew Broderick.
Yep.
Was
War
it
Games.
was it war games? Ziggy, what year did War Games come out?
The film War Games was released on June 3rd, 1983.
Would you like to play a game?
Ziggy off. Why am I remembering these 1983 movies then all of a sudden? Now my whole point's getting thrown out the window.
Yeah, why
I don't know.
You remember why are you?
I know about 5,500.
Ziggy off!
Is Smitty actually 10 years older than us?
now I'm born in the 60s. Now I'm born in the 60s. I remember seeing Casablanca, the black and white version.
Oh, Humphrey Bogart. Hey, babe. All right. Smitty, all right.
I gotta go.
Smitty, I'm gonna try to do us all a damn highest favor. Bring it back around.
Okay.
So I'm a Giants fan. I'm a G-Man fan. That's the side. So as far as fantasy, are the Cowboys lack of doing anything? Are they left us in a dead spot where we got Dak and we got CeeDee Lamb and that's it? And maybe the Cowboys defense is a spot play from week to week coming ahead next year.
I think you got a lot of draft
What are
ahead.
the Cowboys left us with, Smitty?
You have a lot of draft ahead of you. I think you draft one of these top rookie running backs. I think you can get them, and you don't have to get them in round one, obviously, because no one's going in round one. That's an RB. So you bring in Jalen Wright or Braylon Allen. Braylon Allen feels very Dallas Cowboy-like. That would be amazing. And then at 24 overall, you're either moving that up or you're getting lucky and a receiver's falling that shouldn't fall. You could do that.
Who's Braylon Allen? That's a defensive player?
Rookie running back.
Who's that?
Rookie running back. He'll be available in like the second or third round, though. Who knows how far the rookie running backs fall? You have no running back.
What the heck?
So
What the heck did that Cowboy team do with their backfield?
Jerry Jones fell asleep during the free agency. First couple of days of the free agency, and you didn't get your hands on Barkley. You didn't get your hands on Henry. You didn't do anything that we expected the Cowboys to do. So it's pretty ridiculous. But maybe you draft Jalen Wright. You draft Braylon Allen. Blake Corum, you never know. I think you get a ground and pound running back, but at the same time, we very much thought Dallas was 100%. Like I'd almost put 100%. I think I might have almost done that. I think this is the one where I said I'd almost tattoo on my forehead if Dallas didn't get one of Henry or Jacobs or Barkley. I think that was what I said. I would almost. I thank God I said almost. I said I'd almost put a tattoo on my head if they didn't bring in one of those running backs. I'm shocked. I'm dumbfounded. But guess what? That's why I never do the guarantees, because I don't make the decisions the teams do. And that was a stupid move by Jerry Jones. Running backs are cheap too. What in the hell you doing? What in the hell you doing?
Hey, Bill, did you know?
All right, I got to go, guys. Real quickly, Ron, ask Bill your question.
I know, but yeah, Bill, didn't you say you're a Giants fan?
I am.
Bill?
He is.
You're a Giants fan?
I am.
He is.
Take
I
me
am.
with a feather. You said you were a Giants fan, and you turned it into a Dallas question.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, because
Bill?
in a
You live in
redraft-
Las
in a
Vegas
redraft,
too.
I'm already not touching any Giants because I know better, and I knew better before I ever found Smitty. But then finding Smitty reinsured me. But last year I won my league with CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Hurts and certain, I won my league because of Smitty. But I want CeeDee Lamb again, but I have concerns. So it's not. Ron Navy, you are one of my first and foremost favorites from since I tuned in here. But my best friend is a Steelers fan, and he's the one that put me in the league that I just won 7 years ago. So there's a lot of connections.
I feel like Bill the Tickler just gave us 32 teams he listed off.
I expect you to respect me. I
know. All right.
Sorry, Smitty.
Oh, I respect.
All right.
I think the hell out of Bill.
Bill, we appreciate you.
I respect the hell out of you. Sorry, Smitty.
I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm hanging up. I appreciate both of you. You guys will never stop talking. You know I love you both, but I gotta go. See you later. I'll see you later. Ron, I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chats, Ron. Later.
Love you, Smitty. Love you, Ron.
God, I swear it's like saying goodbye to my mom. It's like it doesn't matter what you say. I gotta go. There's a fire. There's a fire. I'm about to burn in it. Can I leave the premises? I gotta hang up. Yeah, so absolute travesty that the Cowboys did not bring in Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, or Josh Jacobs. And no offense, but anybody that says otherwise, 100,000% disagree with you. They're cheap. Running backs are cheap. There's no paying running backs anymore. There's no paying running back. Running backs are dirt cheap. There's no running back contracts that are even expensive anymore. And Jacobs and Barkley were worth it at the cost of entry. They're magnificent grabs. They're values. They're value grabs at this point. Not to mention it gives you the flexibility to use those picks on beefing up O-line, getting in players that you can mold and sculpt and get in your line rooms and your defensive room, whatever, and tweak things and train them the way you want. Do it right from the jump. That's why I like drafting offensive linemen in the second round. You can absolutely like sculpt and mold. But Dallas sleeping on a RB when Barkley was available, when Jacobs was available, these guys were dirt cheap. Absolute travesty. Total misstep. Dallas crapped the bed all over the place. 100%. Not even debatable. I'll be back tonight. Appreciate you. Let me just check real quick. A couple people are screaming that there's some news, but I don't know if it's true. Hold on. Hold the phone. Nope, nothing new. If there's anything news breaking, I'll be coming back. You know that.
Leave it on the fields.
Just in time.
Fields of dreams.
Fields like making love.
Outstanding in his fields.
Feels so good.
Fields General.
My field's good. Uneven playing fields.
Battlefields tested.
Fields. He's for reals.
We got a super chat straggler. It's Ron Navy. He says, vintage movie time with Smitty. I had to cut it. Thank you for the super chat. I had to cut it. These guys were like literally started talking to each other, and I was in the middle, so I just hit the hang up button. They're probably still talking right now on the side of the phone line. They're probably still sitting there chatting away, probably having a virtual dinner together over movies. I bring people together. Like this man. Come on, man. Pick up.
Please leave your message after the tone.
Hey, man, it's Devontae Adams again. Call me back, bro.
In your eyes, the light that hit your eyes, incomplete, your lies,
Look at him. Look at him. Look at the guy at the bottom right corner. Josh Jacobs, the guy that Dallas Cowboys should have 100% have brought in without even the ability to debate it. There's no debate. There's no debate at all. I saw a couple of you try to act like it was a bad move to bring in Josh Jacobs at running back value. That's dirt cheap. Best emoji ever. Appreciate Ron Navy. Best emoji ever is the rocket ship. Is that what you're saying, Ron? Ron, $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
What else we got? What else we got? We got
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
You're right.
Garrett Wilson and the boys.
You're right.
Rodgers has new toys.
You're right.
The lights, the heat.
You're right.
A Jets fan complete.
You're right.
You don't want to test Sauce Gardner's heat.
You're right.
I want to watch Brees Hall's quick feet.
Jets country, let's ride.
Appreciate you all. See you probably tonight, especially on the Dynasty channel, if anything else. But if there's any news breaking, and I kind of have a weird feeling there might be, we shall return. Deuces. This comes from the movie, by the way. I always reference movies.
You're right.
Garrett Wilson and the boys.
See, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Movie references all over the place. All right, now I'm out of here. Later. Be back tonight. Make sure you subscribe to both the Dynasty channel, youtube.com/Dynasty Fantasy Football. This channel you're watching right here, youtube.com/The Fantasy Football Show. We will get back to some Rumble shows. Don't worry, but we're definitely not dialing these back. These are full go, never ever throttling back these. I know we've been throttling back Rumble a little bit. I might be throwing the shorter upload versions on Rumble. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with Rumble yet. I don't want to give up on it at all. I want to take over Rumble, but I almost feel like maybe we do more shorts. You guys remember the JJ video last night? We did a premiere last night. It's a 12-minute video. I'm thinking about just doing more of those on the main channel. I think you guys enjoy those, right? And taking those, doing 2 or 3 or 4 more a week, maybe 4. We'll call it 4 more 12-minute videos a week, and throwing those on Rumble as well to try and kickstart the Rumble. And then once it gets crazy, then we'll have more to do. So appreciate you all. See you all tonight. And on that note, the final scene. The final scene.
Get breached.